Stand back a little bit, everybody. The most important thing on this bridge are these two towers. And that's what they're going to be looking at. I don't care how much we like this and how much we talked about this.
That's right.
This is the beacon. That's the big number. You know, we're as good as done on this. We're almost home free. We can almost box them up and number them if we need to, but I like having them here until I need to come down. All right, we'll try making a drawing of the bridge here, now that it's finally totally designed. Only took about 5 years. Put a little sailboat here. At a certain point, I got very involved with this bridge that was already scheduled to go in here because there needed to be a way to get across from the university over to the waterway. And we wanted to make sure that was a nice bridge. So I got involved in that, and to the point where they finally said, why don't you design the bridge? And so I chose Arthur Andersson, the architect.
Dale was very adamant that if a bridge was built, it needed to be a bridge for the people of Tacoma, not a bridge or not an experience that was just for some abstraction of the art world or of the cultural world somehow, but it really needed to somehow embrace the people and be something for the people.
The bridge is going to come right across here between Union Station and the History Building over to the top of the museum. The bridge itself is 500 feet long, 20 feet wide, and it's a pedestrian bridge that's open 24 hours a day. And there'll be 3 installations. The Seaform Pavilion is the first one you go under for 50 feet. So there'll be 50 feet of seaforms above your head, an obscured glass on the side to make it a little darker in there. And before long, you're at the center of the bridge, and there you see the towers of the crystals that are about 45 feet high.
The center of the bridge is made up of 2 towers of polyvitro, which is a cast material made in a way similar to the way that Dale blows the glass, but this is actually cast, and these, to this scale, some of these things are huge. They're as big as a person.
From the very beginning of this project, we had to struggle with what to do for the towers. Originally, they were going to be 50 feet high, and there were going to be towers of glass or chandeliers hung inside a box of glass. We never liked the idea of putting these towers behind plate glass, you might say, but it was the only thing that we felt we could do, and we really wanted these towers to be in the middle of the bridge. But fortunately, a couple of years ago, 2 of the pieces that I did in Jerusalem for that exhibition, the largest piece was called the Crystal Mountain, and it was made of this polyvitro material that we developed, where we had cast 1,600 parts to make the Crystal Mountain. So here it shows the scale and a little bit of the light quality that's coming through these large crystals. They're up to 5 feet in size. They're hollow, and the light goes through them in a beautiful way. It's sort of a glacial color, from clears to light blues.
And so the light will be pulled through them by day, and by night we have an uplight from a stanchion here, so these will be uplit by night and make a very dramatic gateway to Tacoma.
And the Venetian Pavilion over here is 80 feet long, has 110 Venetians. See, in the model here, the Venetians look great, but we can see them all at one time, right? All right, change those 2.
Yellow?
Yeah, the yellow and the, you see it with clear glass behind it and with sort of a sandblasted glass, etched glass. And both ways work, but we sort of like this one better. The Seaform Pavilion and the Venetian Pavilion are works that people are quite familiar with that know my work. The towers, the gateway into Tacoma, will be something very new and very fresh. So it's probably the pavilion that interests me the most, because we've spent the most time trying to develop these sculptures. We'll put a few people in here up on the bridge. And the scale here is a little bit off, but not too bad. The Bridge of Glass. No, won't be long be open.